Madam Speaker, I'm very new to this. I'm a proud Kittitian and Nevisian.
Division first.
Nevision first. Rice's Village Gingerlands. And today, Madam Speaker, could have been a historic day for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. It is a day where we're presenting two bills that were crafted in collaboration between the Attorney General's office and the legal department within the Office of the Premier in Nevis for an important reason. And our children could have watched us across the aisle, government and opposition, work together to solve a legislative problem. And instead of history being written as that, history will now be written as people trying to make or get political points out of such an important activity. And Madam Speaker, I'm not a politician. I'm a lawyer. And I want us as a nation to be mature. We are 40 years in this business almost. We want to have mature legislature. We want to debate when things need to be debated. And we want to debate based on substance, not based on political points and propaganda statements. So I want to start, Madam Speaker, by saying and telling the people of this nation that this bill does not change the Constitution. And no matter how many WhatsApp propaganda graphics you receive, those are not the truth. The truth is, Madam Speaker, is that this bill does not add any matters within the exclusive domain of the NIA in the Constitution. What does this bill do, Madam Speaker? It simply changes the Crown Proceedings framework to clarify by legislative framework that the NIA, as an organ of the Crown, can sue and be sued with respect to the matters within the exclusive domain. That is why the recitals that one of the members was referred to was in the bill. And I think I have to repeat it, although I thought I summed it up in my initial presentation as to why we were here. The Chief Justice, learned Chief Justice, in her opinion, as she has the right to have, said, the NIA has no legal standing to sue and be sued in civil proceedings, given the applicability of the Crown Proceedings Act to Nevis. That is not about the Constitution. She is saying our legislative framework does not allow or support the NIA to sue and be sued. That is what we're trying to rectify today. And it is a very simple point. The judicial arm of government has adjudged that the executive arm of government has a limitation, which wasn't and therefore must be rectified by the legislative arm of government by way of legislation and not constitutional change. Legislation. The Nevis Island Administration Crown Proceedings Bill. Crown Proceedings Amendment Bill. Those are the amendments and legislative changes to allow the statute law to reflect that the NIA can sue and be sued, because the statute law predated the Constitution. The Constitution did not expressly state it. So there is an open chance that a lawyer, the Chief Justice being one, in her capacity as a judge, can say that the legislative framework does not support this thing. So as the member for number 3 said, our duty is in 2023. How many years that is since 1956?
That's 43, 44 plus 23. That's 67.
67 years later can rectify that issue. And you have to understand, that statute was done in a time when our state was made up of 3 islands. One state. Since 1983, we are now one federation with a federal government and a Nevis Island Administration. So the Crown Proceedings Act from 1956, amended significantly in 1976, does not apply, and we are therefore seeking to rectify this. It is totally uncontroversial. And, Madam Speaker, I don't think it must not be understated. This was a project undertaken by the legal department of the NIA and the Attorney General's office. And is now coming to the House. It is uncontroversial.
And supported by the Leader of the Opposition.
And supported by the Leader of the Opposition. Actually supported by 9 out of the 11 elected members in this House. 9 out of the 11 members of this House are supporting a bill. And now we are being sidetracked in that important exercise for politics. I don't understand it, Madam Speaker. Maybe in more time sitting in here, I might be able to understand it. But I just don't understand how country cannot be above self and country cannot be above party. My principle, country above self. Madam Speaker. And those political games are not necessary when we're doing something so historical as this. So historical as this, Madam Speaker. And in my presentation, Madam Speaker, I said the Prime Minister has already triggered a constitutional reform. That constitutional reform committee is going to go from hard times in Gingerland to Upper Monkey Hill, to St. Paul's, to Jessup's. And I just learned the other day that Newcastle is Castle. It's called Castle, not even Newcastle, they call it, the nickname is Castle. Castle. And that constitutional reform committee that the Prime Minister and member for number 8 is setting up is then going to do the greatest consultation our people have ever seen, because we have some important decisions to make. And we shall. This is not it. This is not that constitutional reform, you know. This is solving a legislative problem. The constitutional reform will come. And we will not just talk about it, we will do it. And if the Prime Minister allows me to be an integral part in that, I will. Because we're not doing it for us, we're doing it for another generation beyond us. We want to have a robust constitution that lasts at least another 40 years. And Madam Speaker, I think I only say that and I only get so passionate because this is something I feel strongly about. I feel strongly that you debate when you need to debate, and you support when you need to support, and when there's controversy, you go to the public to talk about controversy. But we're not dealing with a controversial bill, Madam Speaker. As I said, I think it's important because as the member for number 3 said, you don't see a lot when you're watching on TV and on the internet. And I too look very fat, so I'm a little worried about the camera on the screen. But Madam Speaker, let me make sure you can see it. This is the bill. One page, 2 sides, mostly recitals. But all it does, Madam Speaker, it says the NIA can continue what it was doing 40 years, sue and be sued. And if you want to serve documents on the NIA, you serve them on the legal department of the NIA. And if you want to serve on an officer at the NIA, you serve on the officer. End of story, no controversy.
Len story end.
Len Ben story end?
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing more, Madam Speaker, nothing less. And Madam Speaker, the next bill.
Lead bed.
Lead bend, story end. Okay, that's an interesting one.
A castle?
Castle. So, Madam Speaker, that is, and it's probably no coincidence that who's in here is in here right now. The people who are trying to do the work of the people. And let's get on with it. With that said, Madam Speaker, I have nothing more to add. May it please you.